All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the New Hampshire Peace Action's Peace and Justice Conversation Series. If you're new to New Hampshire Peace Action, we educate, mobilize, and organize to build a more peaceful and just future for all. We envisage a future where international relations are based on cooperation instead of competition and conflict, and where mutual benefit and shared security lead to a more peaceful and just global community. The corona pandemic spurred us to start this bi-weekly conversation series as a way to continue our public education work, and we found it so effective that we decided to continue on indefinitely. This every other Monday online conversation series is intended to help us engage and sort out how to make the changes we've been yearning for. In the spirit of understanding and respect, we'd like to open by acknowledging that we are doing our work in New Hampshire, on the traditional ancestral homeland of the Abenaki, Pennacook, and Wabanaki peoples, past and present. And we want to honor with gratitude the land and waterways that they have been stewarding throughout the generations. So our plan tonight is for Anthony to talk to us for about 30 minutes or so, and then have some Q&A. We are totally okay with everybody having their video on or off, depending on what you're more comfortable with. We do ask that you keep your audio muted if you're not talking. When we do the Q&A, you can put an asterisk in the chat and I will recognize you directly so you can ask your question, or you can type your questions in the chat and I will read them aloud. So let's get on to what our program is tonight. The United States incarcerates people at about 6 times the rates of most European countries. And the cost to taxpayers runs in many, many billions. And we wind up with higher recidivation rates. We wind up with not lower crime rates. And what we find, if you look at the data, is that incarceration is a punishment that is primarily reserved for people of color, while white people who commit the same crimes tend to be remanded to alternative punishments. So tonight we are delighted to have Anthony Harris, who has been doing work that he uses the word decarceration, and meeting Anthony was the first time I'd heard that term, but his work has been through a few different organizations. He's a co-founder of Next Chapter, the Boss Initiative, where they help formerly incarcerated individuals successfully walk the path from prison to prosperity. He's active in Manchester's community that has grown up over the Roots Natural Hair Shop. He's about to join the board of the American Civil Liberties Union. He's a former decarceration organizer for the American Friends Service Committee. He's on Rights and Democracy's Health and Overdose Crisis Team. He's done work around voting drives, filming and documenting events, and he has been kind enough to give us an hour of his time tonight to talk to us about his work. So Anthony, thank you, King, for being with us tonight. Thank you for sharing your message with us, and why don't you take it away?
Great evening to you, queens and kings out there. Thank you. I definitely appreciate you having me on this evening. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about the work that I do. And, you know, the United States is the world leader in incarceration. As of March 21st, there were over 1.8 million incarcerated Americans. Each year, more than 600,000 individuals are released from the state and federal prisons. Individuals with felony convictions will need a supportive system to help them reintegrate back into society, feel whole, and help serve the communities they will return to. They provide the support they need to remain on the path to becoming productive members in their communities. The transition from prison to community comes with a lot of challenges. But before formerly incarcerated people can address health problems, find stable jobs, or learn new skills, they need a place to live. New Hampshire's notorious shortage of affordable housing is one of the largest barriers to economic independence. Without access to safe, stable housing, New Hampshire's most vulnerable populations are at a greater risk of becoming reincarcerated and or homeless. Criminal justice reform is a leading topic of discussion of both major parties, with the number of states decriminalizing drug convictions over the next 8 years. A massive influx of men and women who have been convicted of crimes will be set free. These people with felony convictions will need a supportive system to help them reintegrate back in society, feel whole, and help serve the communities they will return to. According to the national study done by Greg A. Greenberg, PhD, and Robert A. Rosensack, MD, homelessness and incarceration appear to increase the risks of each other. And these factors seem to be mediated by mental illness and substance abuse, as well as the disadvantages, socio-demographic characteristics. 15.3% of the US jail population, which is 1.6 million prisoners roughly, were homeless prior to incarceration. In comparison with other inmates, those who have been homeless were more likely to be currently incarcerated for a property crime, but they were also more likely to have a past criminal justice system involvement for both nonviolent and violent offenses, to have mental health and substance abuse problems, to be less educated, and to be unemployed. New Hampshire's statewide recidivism rate is 42.9%. And this is based on the latest recidivism study published by the NHDOC, following a cohort of people who were released from prison in 2016. This is the 3-year recidivism rate between 2016 and 2019. The recidivism rate for Hillsborough County, which I live in, which includes Manchester, is 47.5%, one of the highest in the state. And 30.3% of that 47.5% are individuals who will recidivate within 12 months of being released. Now, the average yearly cost to keep someone in prison, someone incarcerated, is $40,400, according to the DOC. According to the Department of Justice National Institute of Corrections, the current average cost may be higher. This is because as of 2019, the total prison budget, $128,325,365, divided by the number of prison inmates, 2,691, is $47,686 per inmate. That's how much it costs the state to house each inmate, which is costing our taxpayers millions, billions of dollars each and every single year. So what I've done is collaborate with a couple of organizations and with the couple with BOSS, the Next Chapter BOSS initiative. BOSS has an acronym, Beating the Odds and Striving for Success. And we collaborate with Dr. Chris Matthews, who is one of the founders of Project AIM. The mission of Project AIM is to provide an educational pathway for incarcerated learners to obtain the skills and opportunities to become integrated and productive citizens in society. Project AIM, Achieving Independence and Mobility, allows incarcerated learners to earn digital badges recognized and valued by industry while earning college credits that can lead to an undergraduate degree from Southern New Hampshire University. According to a 2018 study by the Prison Policy Initiative, New Hampshire has over 11,000 incarcerated individuals. This group is overrepresented with people of color, as well as with men, creating a large underserved population in need of assistance in achieving educational and employment attainment. nationally. The 2020 report from New England Board of Higher Education shows that 41% of incarcerated individuals lack a high school diploma, and only 24% of people in federal prisons have any kind of post-secondary education. New Hampshire spends an average of $34,155 per incarcerated individual, compared to $15,340 per K through 12 student and $2,806 per student in higher education. The New Hampshire unemployment rate is currently 3.2%, and employers are finding it difficult to fill positions. Working with these 11,000 individuals to secure fulfilling and stable employment will be a welcome addition to our local economy. The educational level of incarcerated individuals is one of the most accurate predictors of recidivism. Higher education programs within incarcerated settings has been proven to dramatically reduce recidivism, allowing individuals to stay out of jail and or prison and pursue self-sustaining careers. SNU is poised to accelerate a pathway to launch Project AIM in New Hampshire and advance innovative post-secondary opportunities for New Hampshire's incarcerated and recently released individuals. We must retire all our old wars and find a way to bring the men and women who are in combat in the streets of America back into the shared American story of peace, prosperity, forgiveness, and abundance. We need to stop saying who's to blame and start saying how do we solve. Our mission is to help formerly incarcerated individuals successfully walk the path from prison to prosperity. In recent years, correction agencies across the nation have focused on the challenges of helping a growing number of offenders make a safe and successful transition from prison to the community. Our goal is to provide a comprehensive and strategic approach to an individual's journey and transition. This would incorporate the lessons of evidence-based practices, lived experiences, emphasizing the importance of collaboration, while providing our clients with the skills to live productive lives. Program participants will receive job training, mentorship, life coaching, health and wellness counseling, stress management, and affordable housing, regardless of the individual's race, color, creed, gender, and or religion. The BOSS initiative will provide support for men and women who have made mistakes and want to change, and who have made mistakes in their lives and want to change for the better. And with that, I'll close what I've written. And these are the things that we are faced with when it comes to incarceration in today's world. You know, we see that they have started to privatize prison. Now, if prison and jail was supposed to be a rehabilitation process, a timeout, so that you can go in, get the help that you need, and then come out and be a better citizen, a better member of society. If that was the case, then why would we privatize prisons? So there are people who are paying house notes and car notes off of the backs of people being incarcerated. And when we look at the recidivism rate and how high it is, it shows us, you know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. It shows us whatever they were doing, it's not working, or the thing that they want to work is for people to be incarcerated. And as we have, New Hampshire is 87% white as of a new census, the 2020 census is 87% white, yet our prisons are filled with over 70% Black and brown people. And with those numbers, I see that it's targeting Black and brown communities. So instead of we at the Boss Initiative, we're instead of looking at who's to blame for this, we know who's to blame for it. There are a lot of different things, people and organizations that we can blame for it. But instead of blaming someone and complaining about it, we figured we'll do something about it. And so that's why we're implementing the things that we're doing, starting in Manchester and New Hampshire, and hopefully we'll be able to spread it abroad and people start following suit.
Thank you so much, Anthony. That we already have our first question in the chat, so I'll go ahead and ask. This question's from Gail Page. How can you provide affordable housing in the current situation? So we've got, like you said, New Hampshire has a housing crisis that is, now nationally seen as kind of standing out. How do you do it, and how would you like to see it change?
Well, what we plan on doing is we're doing quarter houses. We're going to be buying houses, 4 to 5 bedroom houses, and when you first come out and you come into the program, we're going to be housing. We're going to be housing some of the previously incarcerated or recently released, I should say. And providing them with mental health treatment, job training, job placement, and while they're in the transitional home, we'll be setting up to place them in homes also. As far as the affordable housing, we've been hearing so many affordable housing, but then we got to ask the question, who is it affordable to? How do we make housing affordable to those in our community and low income communities? Right now I'm working with Shauna Green, the director of the Homeless Initiative here in Manchester. And we got a couple of things I can't speak about. We're still speaking about it amongst ourselves inside of the committee. I'm also the secretary for the Hope Initiative Committee for Manchester. So right now we have a fund, the Affordable Housing Trust that Mayor Joyce Craig started. And we have quite a bit of money in there. It's not nearly enough. But I feel like if we're talking to the developers right now to see if we can get some of these developers to spot at least 20 of these homes to low income housing. And I figure if we focused on the recently released and getting them educated on housing, get them the mental health that they need, along with the homeless, doing the same for them, getting them the mental health counseling that they need, then we can start seeing the homelessness being decreased, the homelessness rate being decreased, along with the recidivism rate, which was start opening up more for housing.
Thanks, Anthony. So I have a question that's been on my mind, and it's kind of specific to you, actually. So I see incarceration in the United States. You have wide bipartisan consensus whenever the government wants to spend money around a few different things. One is dropping bombs on brown people overseas. One is more policing and the caging of Black and brown people here at home. And another thing that is kind of a commonality between those two issues is the reality that, I mean, not here in New Hampshire, thankfully, but across the country, that prisons are profitable. There are prison corporations that make money, and then hire lobbyists and control policy. And the same goes for military manufacturing in this country. That it's a cycle of it's a feedback cycle that
Mhm.
makes the problem worse. And I know, for those of us who are active in peace advocacy, um, the feeling of hopelessness or like we are up against something that just will not move is frequently so intense that we're just overcome with sadness. And when I've worked with you and spoken with you, I have noticed that you have none of that. You have hope, you're upbeat, and you're positive. And I want to know what fuels your work. How do you keep that attitude?
Um, yeah, I definitely see I see a lot of people get down a lot. You hear self-care and burnout. You hear these phrases a lot doing this work. And with me, I've I've had to overcome so much in my life from such a very young age. Feels like my whole life was obstacles and adversaries that I had to leap over. And so now coming into this work and being on this side of everything, I just I lean on God, the same one that got me through everything. God, I have a beautiful support system in my queen and my sissy and new friends around me. And so it's like when in the end, I always think there's somebody out there that is doing a million times worse than me. And I focus on the blessings that I have and I don't think about the things that I don't have. And if I'm thinking about anything that I don't have that I want, I'm not thinking of it in a sense of of a negative from a negative perspective, like, oh man, I don't have this thing. It's just, oh, okay, I want that. Okay, well, we put it over here and set it in the goals category, and we draw up a plan, execute until we accomplish it. There's I don't throughout my life, throughout my experience in living in this world, it's only been 39 years. I know it's a very short amount of time, but I lived a lot of life in a short amount of time, and God willingly, I got a lot more life to live. And so I just love to focus on the things that I've accomplished, focus on where I was compared to where I'm at, where I what my train of thought used to be to where it's at now, and that always keeps me going. It keeps me with energy, like, what, I'm still here. I still got breath, and I'm not doing that bad. So it's easy for me to stay happy and enjoying the work that I'm doing. I look at some of the people who I've helped and how they come back and how they speak about me, how they call me for advice, and it's like those are the things that keep me moving. It's like what I'm doing is changing lives. I'm not wasting my time or anybody else's. So it's pretty easy for me to keep that energy. Now I'm actually trying to subside and not be like through the roof all the time. And try to that's more of a challenge than actually trying to conjure up energy.
It's a wonderful problem to have. So I'll ask Donna's question, then we'll let Cheryl ask her own question. So Donna says, "Thank you for your work, Anthony." And her video doesn't work, but she can see you. And her question is, "Are you doing any work with high school students, for example, to prevent students from being pushed out of school?"
um I'm not currently. I'm doing I'm doing some work with high school students, but it's a different type of work. I'm not in the actual school. I started what I started calling Squash the Beef campaign, as a lot of these high school kids are the kids that are actually in the streets selling drugs and shooting these guns. And you know, if you've seen a couple, like last month or earlier this month, they found a kid in the park dead, you know, high school, you know, a couple years back, Chandler, you know, and the list goes on and on and on with all of these high school kids that are dying from gun violence and being out here in the streets. So not to take anything from those that are in school and getting good grades, and you know, they're struggling and just need a boost, you know, not to take anything from them, but I like to put my time, energy, and effort into the ones that society would deem a lost cause, you know, because that's something that I personalize with, you know, because there was once upon a time that people were saying that I was a lost cause and I was a piece of crap and I'll never amount to nothing, from family to so-called friends, you know. So I focus my energy mostly on them so that, you know, they may have, if it's only one person in their life, they got somebody that they could say, you know, loves them and cares about them and is going to do whatever he could do, you know, to get them through it and help them move forward and elevate with their lives. So I have Maggie actually knows one of them, Antoine Stroud. I got him and another guy who are in these local gangs out here, and I talked to both of them. They were willing to sit down and actually talk. I'm setting up now to talk to what we would call their big homies. Those are the ones that's over them, that sends orders, to sit down with them and see if we can get to the root of where this started, why it started, how we can stop it, and how what we can do to bring all of them out onto the other side. You know, what would they need, you know, to stop doing that and start doing this that will actually help them elevate a lot quicker than working on the opposite side, you know, because a lot of times it isn't necessarily that they're not capable or they're not smart enough or educated, because contrary to popular belief, a lot of drug dealers are super highly intelligent, and some of them are even graduated from college. It's just when you grow up with certain surroundings, without love, without support, without guidance, it's easy to get drawn right back into that, you know. So I'm putting my focus there right now. We should be having something up and about in the next couple of months, but we're just in the background right now. You know, then they don't want to be out in the public's eye, but just to let everybody know, it's happening though.
All right, Cheryl, you wanna jump in and ask your question?
Thank you. So Anthony, I am so excited to meet you. I have wanted to meet you since I read about you in the paper. I am thrilled.
Pleasure meeting you also, Queen.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to hear you speak and to hear your passion and to hear what you're doing. And I love the word decarceration. I think that's going to become a new word in my vocabulary. I don't know if you coined it or not, but it says
that was AFSC's doing.
Good word.
First time I heard the word.
Yeah. So I've been working in decarceration for about 5 years. I'm actually a pastor in the United Church of Christ, and my seminary experience took me into the women's prison for a year. And then I did a little bit of work in the federal prison up in Berlin. And as you said, I was totally shocked to see Black and brown faces in the upstate New Hampshire. And I know it's a federal prison, but still the numbers you speak about are accurate and horrifying. So I'm a member of a number of different groups at work to reform our current retributive system. And And I have two questions for you. One is, the groups that I work with are really pushing for restorative justice in New Hampshire, and they're networking with some of the groups in Guilford and the different counties that have restorative justice programs. And to talk to them, they say, our funding is always cut. Lawyers don't know that we're here. We don't have the support that we need. And so one question is about the importance of restorative justice. And two is, so one of my dreams, I'm actually a pastor, but a part-time pastor because the other half of my heart is in this work. And I would love to go buy a part of land and get a bunch of tiny houses and put people who are looking for reentry in it. But as you know, there's so much to be done with that, right? The education part of it, the counseling part of it. I mean, the trauma of having been incarcerated and having to come out and deal with all the things in the world. All of that. And so anyway, other people that I've spoken to have also wanted to buy onto that dream. Tell me what you're doing, and I want to support that. So my second question to you is, as I've worked in New Hampshire over the past 5 years, I've met a lot of people who want to be on your team. Is there a way that we can network so that we've got people providing clothes, we got people providing mentorship, we don't have people in homes, but the biggest thing is people are afraid because they're not educated, right? They don't know the terrible things that are happening on the other side of those walls. And we've been taught about fear. We've just been filled with fear of people who are incarcerated and people of color. We're just so afraid. We need to change this. And so I applaud you for doing this. And I wonder how we can support you, how we can network together, how I personally can support you, and also restorative justice. So any of that you want to address. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Queen. Beautiful questions. And restorative justice is very high on our list. We collaborate with Dr. Chris Matthew. He has a restorative justice program. We talked to Joseph Lascaz. He does a lot of restorative justice work for ACLU. And we actually just linked them two together, Joseph Lascaz and Dr. Chris Matthews, because they're working now to implement this Project AIM into all of the prisons and the jails in the state of New Hampshire, so that you will be able to get your degree while still being incarcerated. Should make it a little easier for you when you come out. And for you and everyone else that wants to support, exactly what you said is exactly what we're planning. We're calling them quarter houses. We don't want, because we feel as the previously incarcerated, halfway house is still prison. We get a taste of outside, which at first we want real bad until you actually get there, and then it's a lot of threats, and you're walking on eggshells because you don't want to go back. And so we're calling them quarter houses, where it's just sort of like a roomy house where it's different rooms. You'll have it'll be up to five. We're housing up to 5 people, and it'll be shared bathroom, shared kitchen. But and we'll have offices, but they'll be upstairs and out of the way for most of the part. You get to see what it feels like to have your own apartment. There's things that it's a transitional house, so there's rules you're gonna have to go by, of course. But ultimately, we're giving you the responsibility. We're just gonna hold you accountable to everything. You have classes that you're gonna attend. We have Dr. Candace Cole McCrae. She said that she'll do work pro bono for us. So when you come in, you have a real psychiatrist that's willing to give you therapy. Also, Dr. Amy Fleischer, so to give pro bono therapy sessions. And so we're actually putting the infrastructure together right now for the next chapter, the Boss Initiative. And we're actually looking for board members. We're meeting every Friday at 2:00. With this Friday on pause because Thursday's Thanksgiving and a lot of people are out traveling, and we meet at the fire station, 100 Merrimack Street, upstairs in the media room. So it's in person every Friday at 2:00. This is strictly for boss. I would rather you have, if you wanted to attend or you wanted to know more information, that you contact me first before just showing up. But yeah, and if you want to support, that's where you could just personally just hit my email and send me an email, and I'll send you a list of everything that we're doing. We're creating positions right now to be filled because we're looking. It's a tentative date right now, but right now everything's on course. We just hope it stays that way, to be opening January the 1st. To start actually have the house. We already have everything else set up. We're just looking now for board members to finish that and lock that down, and then get the house, and then we can start taking people in. So yeah, if you could, I'll put my email in the chat, and if anybody wants to support or know more, just send me an email.
Great, thank you, Anthony. It's
You're welcome.
Great response. Gail had a follow-up. So she's about high schoolers. So Concord has a program called Second Start for teens who have not fit in at regular high school. Do you know if Manchester has such a program?
Teens that, could you say that again?
Teens who are not fitting in regular high school or at risk of dropping out. Do you know about programs like that? I know it's not exactly in your lane, but
I haven't heard of any, but that doesn't mean there isn't any. But I can definitely find out for you. I know some people I can call that's in the education field. Actually, she's the director of education in Manchester, because I'm actually about to get with her, and she wants to, but I just don't know if they're actually going to be high school students. But I know I wanted to get middle school to high school. We have a meeting next week where I'll be able to further explain it. But I talked to Will, and his family has a maple farm in Goffstown. So we plan on having Saturday trips, and we take the kids to the maple farm and have them sap trees, teach them the process, and then make some breakfast, and they get to eat the syrup that they've made. And then one of my Queens clients, his name is Joe. He's been, I don't know what to call him, so I just call him a remote control car engineer. He probably beat me up if he heard me say that. But he's been over for like 20 something years. And so they build these intricate remote control race cars. They go like 60 to 100 miles per hour. And they have this right across the street from Valley Street Jail is this warehouse. And so they have this big warehouse there. And so we're going to leave from the maple farm and come to the warehouse and then they get to watch them do the engineering work and put it together. And then from there, he's going to donate, not for them to take home, but he's going to donate 20 or so cars, because there's a huge racetrack that they could drive the remote control cars around. And then she has some educational programs that she's going to be implementing. So that's the only thing that I'm doing outside of it's still the same work, but outside of the deep, hardened work, something for the kids just to get out. One of the things for me, I was taken to Tennessee, first time out of the inner city, and I was taken to the Smoky Mountains. We hiked We hiked the Smoky Mountains to the Big Bluff, over 10,000 feet in the air, 360-degree view. I just breathed different up there. It was the first time that I got a glimpse of the world outside of the inner city, and I was like so amazed, you know. And it allowed me to broaden and expand my mind. You know, when you're born and raised in this certain area and you never leave this area, it's hard for your mind to fathom anything outside of this area. So when someone's coming to talk to you and tell you, oh, this is possible, it's like, yeah, sounds good. You know, it doesn't make it believable for you. So I want to help those kids that's in the inner city here in Manchester, and that's all they're seeing, you know, bring them out and help them see something different.
It's a beautiful way to look at it, tying it to your own experience. Next question's from David Blair. David asks, Anthony, I really appreciate your spirit and approach. Decarceration is different from abolishing prisons. What led you to decide to focus on decarceration?
I am previously incarcerated, and I had a very, very hard life. I didn't tell my story tonight, another time, but I had a very hard life, and in and out of prison. But I've never had the love, the guidance, the support. You know, I've had it from the other side, you know, but never true love and guidance and support, you know. And so as the last time I was incarcerated, I did a 5-year stretch in Florida. And I told myself that, you know, God didn't create me to be, you know, the biggest drug dealer. You know, I know I'm better than this. You know, so I got my small business degree. I wrote out a well thought out, immaculate business plan. And my professor in there, he was a he's a billionaire, and he owned a lot of casinos in Vegas and casino cruise ships and a chicken chain. And so when he seen my business plan, he was like salivating over it, like, yes, this will keep you out. Once you get out and you get to doing this, and, you know, and I had all of this hope coming out, you know, and I really, when I spent my time wisely, I wasn't being a knucklehead while I was in prison. And I came out with all of this hope, and I went to the state office, the Secretary of State, to get my business license. And on the application, it says, do you have felonies? And of course, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna find out anyway. So I put yes, I get denied. My plan is immaculate, and I still get denied. It's like, so I went to go get an apartment. Had a friend give me first and last months and security deposit to get an apartment. Do you have any felonies? I put yes, denied the apartment. And it's like, I was denied for so many things that I was so confident that I can change. Like, I'm a changed man, that I got crazy discouraged, and I felt like all I could do is sell drugs again in order to make it. So I went back to selling drugs, you know, and by doing that, I made it in the drug world, yeah, but I made it to a point where everybody wants to be. You know, I have the big house, I have the S500 Benz, I got boats. I mean, I got my own private beach and a lake house right on Lake Horace, 29 Waterman Court. You know, would be considered living the life. But I felt so horrible. I mean, I'm out here by myself. I can't trust anybody because I'm doing illegal things, and they'll tell on me if they knew I was living like this, you know? And so it was very lonely and heart-wrenching. And, you know, and So I just made a plan with God, get me out of here. Get me out of the game. I don't want to be locked up. I don't want to be in the game. Just get me out. I just wanted to live for him and do the things that I know he created me for. And so in doing that, then I meet my queen and she's not judging me. And we started, it's like I seen all the obstacles and the adversities that you face. I understand why you would go back to doing the same thing you've been doing. People say, oh, that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. But when you feel like this is the only choice they're giving you, what options do you have? So, and God allowing me to become successful in the work that I'm doing, in the work that I was doing. And I felt like I found my purpose. I found my reason of why, why God allowed me to go through so much, and he allowed me to get through it, be resilient through it, and not lose my heart or my mind through it. It's so that I can help those today that's going through it, that don't have a mentor, that don't have no one that's telling them that they're loved and they're phenomenal. So I felt, that's why God put me here and allowed me to go through it so I could be the one that does it. And so that's what made me fall into the work that I'm doing. I figured, I feel like I've been doing it my whole life. God has been preparing me my whole life to do it. So now the only way up is for me to be doing this work.
Thanks. It's a lot to reflect on through that story, and the message that like that's, you went through it so that you can do it. Resonates. So we are out of questions, and I deeply appreciate you joining us tonight, Anthony. And I think this has been a really rich discussion. Do you have any thoughts you want to give us before we close out for the night?
Could I quickly just ask for your email, please? My name is Ann. I'm on the phone.
I'm putting it in the chat now.
So
yes, I'm not, but I don't. Yes, I don't have the Zoom on. So
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's spelling vote, F as in Frank, E as in Echo, L as in Lima, O.
Yes, O-N, yes.
Vote @gmail.com.
Felon vote, V-O-T-E, V as in victory, O-T-E?
Yes, @gmail.com.
Felon vote @gmail. Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
I really appreciated your talk, and I've heard many of your talks before, so I'll get in touch.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you having me on and actually taking the time to listen and digest and do the work that all of you are doing. Y'all are doing important work also. And it's gonna take all of us to come together to bring the future vision that we see, to bring it to fruition.
The world we're building.
Amen.
Deeply appreciate brother in the struggle. So thank you, Anthony, and make sure you join us 2 weeks from now. We're going to talk about offshore wind and the movement for offshore wind. It'll be Doug Bogan will be our speaker. December 20th, we'll recognize National Homeless Memorial Day, and we'll have Ellen Grow speak to us about ending homelessness in New Hampshire. And then moving into the new year, January 3rd, I'm going to update us on what our priorities are going to be moving into 2022. So everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Have a beautiful evening, Queens and Kings.
Thank
God bless you.